Everyone in the entire world can probably guess what Nintendo's going to go with for their launch title for Switch 2. I mean, generally speaking, it probably comes down to two games, and I think anyone in the world can predict what they are. Yoshi and Chibi Robo. No, okay, let me be serious. Star Fox and Punch-Out. Okay, no, I swear I'm done. Honestly, we all know it's Mario. Anything Mario is going to sell really well, and when we've already waited over 7 years and over 10 years for the other Mario game, yeah, one of these would definitely fit the bill. And of course, I'm talking about Mario Kart or 3D Mario. One of these is definitely going to take that launch title spot, and the other one probably like the holiday season spot. I'm probably like 100% sure now that we're going to see both of these games year one for Switch 2. It just matters which one Nintendo chooses. Personally, I think a 3D Mario game makes the most sense. Yes, Mario Kart would sell like absolute crazy, but I think it will regardless even in that holiday season, and I feel like you want to start the console off with a big adventure game, a big single player game, and that's exactly what 3D Mario is going to do. So today, I guess we can interchange both of them, but this is what I want to kind of talk about, is the fact that Breath of the Wild was so massive. I mean, seriously, it's one of the biggest games ever for Nintendo, and of course was a launch title game and a cross-release between the Wii U and the Nintendo Switch. I think this is even more impressive when you look at the charts and the stats, where Zelda has never been like a humongous franchise for Nintendo. It's always been pretty big, but it never was on the likes of Smash Brothers, Mario Kart, or even just Mario games in general. Shoot, even Pokemon, like, it's never been up there amongst some of those, and you've never really seen a Zelda game cross that 10 million threshold. Like, the biggest we've seen probably in history in the past was Nintendo 64's Ocarina of Time, just over 7 million. Before the Switch, Zelda was pretty much absent from modern consoles. There was absolutely no Zelda game in the top, like, 10 for the Nintendo DS, same with the Wii, same with the Nintendo 3DS, and the Wii U was barely able to get Zelda Wind Waker up there, a little past 2 million, but obviously the Wii U just it wasn't a great console. But I will always love the Wii U. But that leads us to the Nintendo Switch, where clearly something has shifted here. We have The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at the number 4 slot, with over 31 million copies sold, which is absolutely insane to think about. It's a Zelda game. It's normally not the type of game that would sell past 10 million. And look at its sequel, Tears of the Kingdom, over 20 million already. So clearly Zelda has been placed on top. And why was this ever the case? Well, this wasn't just a new Zelda game, and I strongly do believe if it was just another installment of a 3D Zelda game, no one would really care all that much. What drove everybody to be so excited about this game? Well, it was the fact that it was the first ever fully open world Zelda game, and at this time Nintendo really never dealt with open world games. I think outside of like Xenoblade, there really wasn't anything under Nintendo's belt that was even close to being a 3D open world, and nothing along the lines of Breath of the Wild, that's for sure. So obviously fans were super excited because an open world Zelda game just made sense. I mean, after all, Zelda was always meant to be open world. Even the top-down original 2D Zelda game on the NES was supposed to be an open world experience, just with its hardware limitations back then. So audiences seeing this, it was absolutely jaw-dropping for the first time. To be able to go anywhere all over Hyrule, climbing anything and pretty much doing whatever we wanted was truly a testament to how massive this game was. This wasn't just another Zelda game, this was the game to have if you own a Nintendo Switch, or even if you're a Wii U owner. This game was special, and I think everyone knew that, including Nintendo themselves. They definitely knew, because they wanted to show this game off as much as possible, bringing it to the Game Awards multiple times, and showing off little developer interviews and behind the scenes, development. It was just like something they wanted to keep people in the loop of, because they wanted us to know that this is massive. This is something that they want everyone to try out. And for crying out loud, I know the Wii U was ending in 2016 and Nintendo really had nothing else to do, but they had a whole E3 dedicated to The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, one game, which Nintendo has never done in their entire lives. So this was a big gamble, but after showing the world how massive and how amazing this game is, it's all we would need for that month in June, back in 2016, because it showed us exactly what Nintendo was cooking up to be one of the greatest games of all time. And of course, it begs the question, can Nintendo ever top this? 2017 was so huge, yes, because of things like Splatoon 2 and Mario Odyssey, but with the start of a brand new open world, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, it really made people think that Nintendo would never have a year better than 2017 ever again. And I was one of those that believed that for a while until I saw what Nintendo could be having in 2025 for this new console. I think it's even possible that they can top that year. With a Mario and a Zelda, yeah, I still think it's possible, clearly, like I said earlier, with 2 Marios this time instead of a Mario and a Zelda. Because, like you've seen on these past charts, Mario sells like mad. If you take the 21 Switch games that all sold over 10 million, 8 of those games are Mario games. 8 Mario games sold over 10 million copies, which is just absurd. But at the same time, you have a successful console with the Switch, and it's Mario. Everyone loves Mario more than ever now. The Mario movie helped solidify this, and now people that may have not been fans of Mario are now fans, young and old alike, all over the globe. Mario movies and Legos and merchandise all over everywhere you look. I mean, seriously, just walking in the store the other day, everything is Mario now. I mean, it used to be kind of popular, but I'm like, Mario is becoming an almost household staple for like everyone around the world. So clearly, a brand new Mario game to launch with a brand new console is going to do massive numbers. So I hear the question, can Nintendo actually replicate that success and have a successful launch game that's even bigger than Breath of the Wild? Absolutely they can. Now the recent sales report just came out from Nintendo, and Breath of the Wild is still selling, like a lot. It's now up to 32 million. After 7 years later is really absurd for that game. So can Nintendo beat 32 million? Well, Super Mario Odyssey was at 28 million. This is not an open world game, it's just another open sandbox game like 64 and Sunshine, and for a lot of people, it still wasn't what they wanted with Mario. They wanted something even bigger and grander, and something that wasn't as a collectathon of moons as Super Mario Odyssey was. And even with that, Odyssey is right behind Breath of the Wild at the number 5 slot, without being some type of open world game genre defining thing. Still at number 1 on the best-selling Nintendo Switch games by a long shot, and now like the best-selling Nintendo game ever, is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at 62 million. And let me remind you, this is not a new game. Yes, it got some new content, added some new characters and tracks, and revamped the battle mode, and eventually had DLC to add tons of more tracks from the old past Mario Kart games. But still, let me remind you, this was a Wii U game. A Wii U game sold this many copies, and it launched shortly after Switch came out in the spring and just went on to become an absolute monstrous beast because it's a great Mario Kart game that was left on a pretty lackluster console. So obviously putting this game on Switch got everybody involved. So I genuinely don't know a single person out there that doesn't own Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So if we ask the question, can Nintendo Switch 2's launch title be bigger than the Switch's, being Breath of the Wild? The answer is a resounding yes, and I 100% believe that the next console's launch title is going to sell well over what Breath of the Wild did, which is just even more exciting, because you now have the mascot of the company in your hands, and it's time for their next big 3D Mario game, and it's also time for their next big Mario Kart game, and whatever they go with is going to absolutely sell like mad. Whether that is a 3D Mario game, which the rumors are implying, or at least have been implying, that it's going to be open world. And if you already sold as many copies as you did of an open world Zelda game, can you even try to imagine how well an open world Mario game will sell? Being able to run around the Mushroom Kingdom and go from various different areas wherever you want as Mario is going to be a huge selling point. Because like I said, a lot of people wanted to play Breath of the Wild because of that open world aspect from Nintendo. A lot of people weren't even Zelda fans, and for a lot of people it was their first Zelda game. So if you give us an open world Mario game or something else that's very genre defining for the Mario franchise, pair that with the fact that it's Mario and anyone's gonna buy it, it's already gonna sell absolutely insane. Mario Kart is literally in the same boat, if not even higher, because look at Mario Kart 8 Deluxe's sales. For an old Mario Kart game, can you imagine how well the new one's gonna sell? Especially after fans have been waiting over 10 years for a new installment in the series. This is going to be massive if Nintendo launches a console with this. And honestly, whether it's a launch title or a holiday title, this has the potential to sell even more than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe did. Now, is that likely? I don't know. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe is up there, and I don't know if Nintendo's ever going to have a game that big again, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But personally, I do think Breath of the Wild was a massive success, and clearly it is one of my favorite games of all time as well. But even with that said, I think Nintendo has a lineup right now that works perfectly. It's been over 7 years since the last 3D Mario game. It's been over 10 years since the last Mario Kart, and Nintendo knows this, and they've done this on purpose. They're gearing up for something huge, and I can't wait to see what the next 3D Mario or the next Mario Kart is going to look like, but I 100% believe it is going to sell almost double Breath of the Wild sold on the Nintendo Switch. But definitely let me know in the comments down below what you think about this. Do you think Nintendo's next Switch 2 launch title game is going to sell as much as Breath of the Wild? Do you think something like a big open world 3D Mario game or the next Mario Kart is big enough? I mean, clearly, but do you think it is? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.